opinion.
Well, look what I found. This is rare, at least for me. Last time I saw one of these on eBay was, I don't know, a year ago, maybe longer. And they wanted an insane amount of money for it. So this is a topper for a Bone Busters. And it's in pieces right now because I wanted to take it apart to see what its condition was. I got it on eBay. It was was listed a little higher than I would have liked to pay, but a little bit of haggling, and it's a fair deal. Most of it's here, not all of it, but that's I think expected. I don't know how much of a problem that's going to be, but it came. It came today. It was all packaged nicely. It comes with the wooden topper that replaces the top of the back box. There's like there's one on there on the one I have to cover the hole that this would have, that would have been there if the machine I have had a topper, but it didn't. So it comes with this skull itself, the bandana, the back box for the skull. It goes behind the skull, and then the plastic cover, which unfortunately is cracked in places. I don't know if it was dropped or if it's just like stress from the years of, heat, expansion, cheap plastic. It looks like, I'm thinking it was just expansion and like cracking from just being touched and pulled. And, it's 30 years old at this point, if not older. And, there's some of the plastic's going to go, and the cheaper plastic is going to, is going to go first. But I took that off, which is just a few screws. It's no big deal, just to see what we got here, because the skull is two. It does two things, three really. It lights up, its jaw moves when it speaks, and then it rotates. So that requires three different systems. The flasher systems, which are pretty standard. They're just flashers on the playfield that go up to the back box. There's the motor inside the head. We give this guy an autopsy. You can see that there's it's not a motor, it's a kicker, or a solenoid rather. My brain isn't working. There's the two flashers, but the solenoid just, pulls up these little hinges. I don't know what to call them. They're little, neat little cheap mechanisms, but you do the part, right? So this will clamp closed is my guess. There's a possibility it clamps open. I haven't tried it yet. But what that does is just hinges on these two little strings, which are connected down to the jaw, and pull the jaw up and down. It's cheap. These are standard. They can be found anywhere. These, I don't know if they're used elsewhere, but it's pretty simple from that point of view. The rotation of the skull is done underneath. And this is where I don't have the other motor. So this extrudes into the back box, and there would be a motor on the right side here, which is where those other holes there are for. I'm pretty sure. No, actually, it doesn't. It mounts. I think it mounts to these bolts. And there's a long worm gear which rides back and forth, which causes this to turn. So that motor would extend the worm gear to the left or right, which would turn this gear. Unfortunately, I don't have it, and I don't know how standard it is. So that might be something it's going to be a challenge to either find or create. I was looking through the manual and some of the schematics, and it rides on 27 volts. It's an oddball, but maybe it's used in these games more often than I think, and it's just something standard they used. I'm hoping so, because why would they spend all that money on something proprietary to Bone Busters? That just doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, this game didn't do a whole lot. It doesn't have any theme that's worth anything, even if it was supposed to be a Ghostbusters or Maybe if those stories are true, but there are two connections. One is for the motor up top, or the solenoid up top, and one would be for the motor on the bottom. The inside of the back box does have two vacant leads, which I believe are these A10P6 and A10P5, which power these things. So what I'm going to do is put this on the machine anyway. I'm going to leave the top bubble off because it's a pain to get on and off if I have to work on this guy. I'm going to see if it actually lights up and if the jaw works. Because if that's the case, I'll just leave it plugged in and working until I can find that bottom gear. So let me get this thing back together. Let me put it on top of the machine. Make sure it fits under the ceiling as well. It's not too tall, but it could be tall enough where it's problematic, especially with the bulb. I have a low ceiling in the game room, so who knows. I'm gonna do that, and I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so over in the game room, here's the Bone Busters. It's looking really red on camera, but it is a little more pink than it looks. Yeah, pink on the inside there is the pink it's supposed to be. They all faded to red. That's a shame because the hot pink was, 80s through and through. But this isn't as easy as I thought, and that's because my ceiling is really low. I have a 7-foot ceiling in here, which is terrible. I knew that when I bought the house, and I knew it was going to be a limitation. But look how close. Look how close that is. Look at that. It's about 1.5 inches, and I couldn't even actually get it in. I had to take it apart, 2 pieces, put it in 2 pieces with it all cockeyed and lopsided just to get it to fit. So there's no way that upper dome is gonna fit in here. Not unless I demolish the ceiling or put smaller legs on the machine, but it's already small. So it is what it is. We'll see how that proceeds, but I haven't done anything with it yet. It was a pain to get in. And that's because if you look in here, can I turn on the light? I probably can't. Anyway, so these wires come down through a hole. And guess what? This doesn't fit through the hole. They must have put the end on after they shoved the wires through, and so you can't actually get the bracket on the inside away from the skull itself, which is unfortunate because that means when you take it apart, you can't get the brackets off the wooden piece, this wooden piece here. So I'm not going to cut that wire regardless. I'll do what I have to get this thing on and off, but it's in for now. But it's not terrible. I had some problems getting it lined up. It's hard to see. But the motor would mount over here on the right. That little motor that's missing. And there's 2 sets of wires here that come off. You can see that they route down here from the main harness. One of them is A10J6, which is the upper solenoid in the lights. That's why there's twice as many wires as this one. A10J5, which is half as many, which is just going to be for the motor inside here, which just goes left and right. It's pretty much just an on and off, positive, negative thing. But this is A10P6, and on all these machines, the P's and the J's connect with the same names. So this should, one-handed, let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Hold on. Wow, this is hard enough two-handed. There we go. So, connects just like that. And the motor would connect onto the other one if it was there. There are little wire holders in there to, hold these up when it's in so they don't get tangled up. But we're not going to mess with that right now. What we're going to do is just turn it on and see what happens. We're going to leave everything open in case there's smoke or in case there's an explosion. Or if he comes to life and starts haunting us, I don't know. Who knows? I expect the lights to work. If they don't, they're standard flasher lights. I think I have some. I don't expect the motor up, or I keep calling it a motor, the solenoid up there to work though. I don't know why. I just don't. But I do expect it to recognize it's there and try. So I think this thing's plugged in. Let's move this back a little bit. Okay, so we're going to turn it on. We're going to see what happens. Keep an eye up there. And we'll turn the lights off if it does work and see what happens. I know the attract mode on this is weird.
Hey, yo, what's in it?
Ah, no. So we got no lights. And we got nothing at all. Huh. That was unexpected. I was hoping for at least
Here's one eye.
a little bit of, at least the lights to work.
Hey, did you hear the one about the traveling salesman?
We got nothing.
Hands up!
I'll kill the light just in case it's just too dark to see them, but I doubt it.
Come and get me.
No, he's supposed to be flashing. I'll have to open him up and see if I can
Nice for you, babe.
change out those flashers. Maybe it is just the bulbs. And I noticed the flashing red light.
Got a bone to pick with you.
I don't know if that's normal or not. I haven't been inside this game in a whole many years.
Kids, I win.
But he should have been doing something by now, obviously. I think those, like the flashers that go off, there are certain flasher matches that go off on the back box that matches eyes, I think, because they share the same thing, same circuit. But that's disappointing.
I'm out of here.
Let me see if I have any of those bulbs and see if I can swap them in. They look to be, from the pictures, they look to be coated red, so they might be, they might be red by
I gotta go to the opera.
just to give his eye some color as opposed to just bright white. Because his eye itself is not colored in any way. It's just a piece of plastic.
Yo, what's in
It
it?
looks like it's molded. It's pretty thick though. Yeah, okay. Let me see if I have any. Hold on. 7-foot ceiling. Can't. There's not enough room to work. Like, I got his head off, the skull off, but you can't get your fingers in there with the ceiling in the way. It's frustrating. So, it's tiring too. So these are the new bulbs. They're 67s. Had trouble with one of the sockets. This one just didn't want to work. Its little spring mechanism in the back didn't want to spring out, so I couldn't get it. So I had to take the whole head down, the back box down, just to be able to see what I was doing. Get a screwdriver in there, and the original ones, you see, they're 67. They're dipped in a plastic. Looks like they're just dipped in a boink, just in a wax to give them a red color. And this one, they probably dripped down when it was wet. I couldn't get it off. Don't know. I'll have to see if they work. But what we're going to do is turn it on like this and just see if we can get the flashes working. Just to see. And you can see some scorch marks on the solenoid there. That powers the jaw. Basically, it does this. But if there was, at one point, too much current or something going through it, that's flux residue. That's like really, really, it looks like it got really hot. So I don't know. It could just be age with the flux as well. I don't know. But the The part number is on there, Gottlieb, whatever that is, 266 something. So I can always replace it if it's available. Should be. It's probably a pretty standard small one. So we're going to turn this on and see what happens. Again.
Hey, yo, what is it?
Oh my God, that's bright. It's too bright for the camera. It's probably going to be way too bright. Yeah, you can't even see what's going on. Let me see if I can put his skull back on.
Here's one eye.
His skull just sits in with a single screw,
Hey,
but
did you hear the one about the traveling salesman?
he's got little pegs that hold it in as well. It's hard to do in the dark. It just kind of snaps on. I guess turn him around.
Come and get me.
Good. Good.
This ice for you, babe.
So
I got a bone to pick with you.
oh, that he did not light up there.
Kids, I win.
I wonder if he's I don't think that's me. I think that's the game. Come on.
Hey, bonehead.
Yeah, I don't think me turning it in any way causes a short or a
I'm out of here.
loose wire. I think that's just him not always turning on.
Come and get me. Well, I gotta go to the opera.
Yeah, okay. So next question is,
Hey, yo, what is it?
I'm betting the solenoid doesn't actually work unless the game is playing. Because you know that with the interlocks and the when the game isn't actually in use, you tend not to get like the flipper action, coils to fire.
Here's one eye.
All those things are disabled. So I'm wondering if like I have to play a game in order for him to actually attempt to move that thing.
Hey, did you hear the one about the traveling salesman?
No, I didn't. Tell me again.
Hands up.
Could you imagine this in a like just speaking all day long, trying to get people to play the game? They never would. He's annoying.
Come and get me.
I think there's in the options. I think you can turn him down to low or off though. I think he's on normal right now.
Bonehead.
Like the other games, like Stargate, every so often you hear the Stargate go off, and Starship Troopers, he yells, join the infantry.
Out of here.
But it's like one every 5 minutes. This is like every 5 seconds. This is absurd.
Come and get me.
Okay, so I'm going to put him back upright, and then we'll see if in game whether or not he speaks or attempts to speak.
I gotta go to the opera.
A hole in his head's for a screw, but when it's upright against the ceiling, I can't actually get the screw out, so it's annoying. And he rotates, as you saw, all the way around, which isn't supposed to happen either, because there's no gear on the other side. Okay, give me a minute. I'll be back. Okay, he's all back together. He's got his bandana on. He looks great. We turn his thing on. Speak. Speak.
Hey, yo, what is it?
Huh. I expected his other eye to light up. I mean, they both do. There's a bulb on each side. That's weird. I don't know. Let's start it up.
Here's one eye.
The only way to do that's with a quarter. Look at this, by the way. Duct tape residue.
Hey, did you hear the one about the traveling salesman?
Hey, I was in a house before me.
Hands up!
Alright, let's watch them.
What's in contour?
Not gonna be able to see much while I do this, but one-handed pinball is always fun. It's hard. I don't even know when he's supposed to speak, to be honest. The right flipper is slow. Maybe it's the left. No, the right one is sluggish. I guessed wrong. Yeah, my initials.
Kids, I win.
I guess I expect them to speak more during a game. Maybe it's only when you get the multi-ball. He's so quiet during a game, and he's annoying when you're not even playing. Yeah, see? There's almost no power on that right flipper. It needs to be rebuilt. Ugh, this is hard. And the thing is, the right flipper is the one you hit the ramp from and everything. It's too hard one-handed. Huh. Well, that's frustrating.
Here's one eye.
See how annoying he is? Oh well. I'm going to play a few rounds here two-handed and
Hey, did you hear the one about the traveling salesman?
see if I can get him to actually, perform a jaw movement maybe with multi-ball.
Hands up!
We'll see. I don't know. He looks cool up there if anything. We'll get him working though.
This eye's for you.
I got to figure out where to get one of those secondary motors though. That's going to be a much harder thing to, accomplish than I thought it was going to be. But that's okay. Well, this is it for now. I'll put this together and upload this, and hopefully the next one I'll have a working skull. So I'll see you next time.